Yes, that's right. It's Joe here for Joyrider TV on the Hobie 16 with Mr. Goose.
Hello.
And we are going to go through the complete capsize righting procedure to make it as safe as possible. You need to know this. Because it's more difficult to perform single-handed. So if you had a crew, it would be much easier. Now, a very typical way to capsize on a light wind day might be if you go for attack. So here we are going for attack. You fail to cross the boat. Now, all of the pressure is pushing the boat over. Oh my word, here we go. And there it is. Okay, so first thing, what do we need to do? Get out from this space here. Why? Because if the boat inverts, we're going to be underneath the trampoline, and that is not a good place to be. I'm behind the shroud, so I'm going to exit from the back. There's a nice big space here between the back beam and the tiller connecting bar, so I could just go there, and I'm actually going to just get up onto the hull from there. But maybe I didn't end up in that position. Second thing that is really important after you've capsized is keep holding on to the boat. Whatever part of the boat you can get hold of, hold on to it. Like perhaps it's a bit windier and you actually pitch poled, you'll end up kind of like here, but still attached to your trapeze if you were trapezing. So use your trapeze to pull yourself back to the boat, grab hold of the forestay, and then work your way along the forestay or the jib to get back in touch with the boat. Easiest place to get on the boat is at the bow because it floats the closest to the water. And if you did have a trapeze harness, just be careful of your hook. At the moment, it is unlikely that the boat would invert completely because the wind is blowing onto the top of the trampoline, which is kind of going to stop it from inverting. So I'm going to force it to invert just by getting onto the mast. If you find yourself in the water with the boat upside down, easiest place to get back onto the trampoline is from the back. But just one thing to be really careful of as you're coming onto the boat is not to put any weight on the tiller connecting bar. Some boats it might just break, but on a Hobie you're likely to unlock the rudders, which means that when the boat comes upright, you might have the rudders pointing in opposite directions, which could be a bad time. So you could just float yourself on to the trampoline, and once you're on the trampoline, you've got this big stable platform. If you don't like the situation and there are safety boats around, you can use the international distress signal like this. I'm not going to do it because someone will come over, and then someone will come to your help if there is help around. So an important thing to find out before you go sailing is there any chance of any help? Now that we're established upside down, I'm going to grab the capsize righting line. It's tied on to the dolphin striker. If you don't have one, it's a good idea to put one on. All you need is a few meters of rope. You could use whatever rope you like, but a thicker rope is going to be much kinder to your hands. We now need to work out which way the wind is coming from. It's coming from that way. We can tell because that's the way that the small waves are coming, and we want to pass the righting line under the hull on that side. So we're going under the hull, grabbing it with the other hand and bringing it all the way round like this. And then which corner of the trampoline is closer to where the wind is coming from. Sometimes the back of the boat might be closer to the wind, in which case we want to try to lift that corner first. But if the boat is square like it is here to the wind, or if the front of the boat is a bit closer to the wind, it is much easier to lift this forwards corner of the trampoline because there's less volume in the hull at the back, which means we can sink the back of the boat, which means that that corner of trampoline is going to lift. Now, it's not lifting as quickly as I'd like, so two things I can do here is I release the mainsail, the main sheet. I'm going to release the traveller so that the mainsail isn't acting like a sea anchor, and I'm going to do the same with the jib. Still a bit slow, so we can go to the next level, which is to stand up on the hull, getting a bit further back. Yeah, and there you can see that is really having the desired effect, because not only is the wind going to get underneath that corner of trampoline, but also the air in the mast is going to start having a positive effect in bringing the boat up onto its side. As it's coming up, I'm going to try to walk forwards. Okay, and I'm just going to climb the rope to get back onto the boat. Now that the boat is on its side, the righting line is already in the right spot, going over the hull. Ideally, we're going to get the boat pointing into the wind, which we can do by moving forwards on the bow. Now, by moving forwards on the bow, you can see it's really lifting the back of the boat, sinking the bow, and this means that if there was a bit of wind, which there isn't really very much, the boat is going to swing round into the wind. What we want to do is get the wind blowing straight onto the mast, because that means that the wind's going to get underneath the sail and help us to unstick the sail. I can now have an attempt to bring the boat upright. Being single-handed, I'm going to bring the righting line to the widest or deepest part of the hull, as that's going to give us the most leverage. I'm then going to use the righting line kind of like a chair by wrapping it under my buttocks. But this righting line is a bit short for that, because what I want to do is get as close to the water as possible, and I can tell right away I haven't got enough weight to bring the boat upright. Having done tests before, I know that we need 120 kilos to bring the boat up from on its side with a Hobie 16. So I've got here, it's kind of like a vinyl bag. It's actually for scuba divers. Woohoo, nearly fell in. But it's exactly what I need for this purpose, because what we're going to do here is we're going to add 50 kilos. So what I'm going to do to attach the bag is I'm just going to tie a loop as high up as possible on the righting line, and then I'm going to clip the bag onto the line. Do check out the full video on using the righting bag, but basically we've got a purchase system here which is going to help us to pull it out of the water. Now, although this bag is a 50 kilo bag, it's difficult to get a whole 50 kilos of water in it. So if you're a lighter sailor, get hold of a bigger bag, maybe a 100-litre bag, and that means you are not going to need to get as much water in it. Now going to hoist the bag all the way out of the water using the purchase system. So I want that. There is no way I could lift that like this without the purchase. Now the thing with the bag You may think this is taking a very long time, but the thing is, if the wind is so light that you need to use the bag, then you've got loads of time. It's all right, because it's not windy. As the boat comes upright, I'm gonna lean in, grab the dolphin striker. That's gonna take my head away from this hull. If you're on a smaller boat, it's even more important because this hull is gonna be lower down, more likely to get you on the bonce. All right, here we go. So fully extended, there we go. No water in the mast means that it's coming up. Come on. Now the bag is floating. Might have to get it a bit higher up. Totally resting on the hull, too short. So there's definitely a very precise sweet spot that the bag needs to be in. And here it is. Climbing the rope. All right, leaning in. And there we are. We are upright. Okay. So, getting the line on the bag the right length is very important, pretty critical to get that in the right spot. What's nice here, now that we've righted the boat, if we did want it to just sit here, we could take our capsize righting line to the front, or even we could unclip the bag, clip the bag onto the bridle wire, and now that's going to act as a really effective sea anchor. All right, so there we go. 3 most important safety points. Number 1, get out from that trampoline spot after you capsize. Number 2, stay holding on to the boat at all times. You don't need to swim to the top of the mast to try to lift the top of the mast. And number 4 and number 3, when the boat's coming back down, lean in, grab the dolphin striker. That's going to help to stop the boat flipping over the other way, and it's going to take your head away from the hull, which is coming down. Okay, so first most important thing is we're going to exit this area, because if the boat inverts, we might get caught. So Mr. Goose is forwards of the shroud. He's going to exit forwards. I'm behind the shroud, so I'm going to exit out the back. Okay, so I'm actually going to go over the sail so I don't have to go under the main sheet. Okay, and then the next important point is once you're in the water, we are holding on to a part of the boat at all times. The boat is going to drift faster than we can possibly swim, especially in this wind. Okay, bonus feature at the back here is if we can try to avoid kicking the rudders up, that is really going to help us later on. So when we're going around the back of the boat to get on, let's try not to pull the rudder up. And in fact, I'm going to get on just here, a bit easier. Okay, so if you've capsized and you landed on the mainsail like Mr. Goose here, most important thing is get back to the boat as soon as you can, hold on to the mainsail, and there you can see Mr. Goose is working his way down the leech of the sail, holding on at all times, just to make sure that he's not going to be separated from the boat. We need to work out what is the windward corner of the trampoline, meaning which corner of the trampoline is closest to where the wind is coming from. The wind is coming from over here, so we can see this back corner of the trampoline is the one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our capsize righting line, which was in the pocket on the trampoline. We're going to pass it around the hull on the same side as that corner of trampoline, and then we're just going to sit on the hull opposite. A lot of the time it will be the front corner of trampoline you need to get out first, but what we can see is it's a combination of the air in the mast and the wind getting under the trampoline. It's bringing the boat up onto its side. Very nice. And then as the boat comes onto its side, we're just getting to the centre part of the hull. Mr. Goose, nothing to hold on to there. We're almost good just to bring it back upright, but there's a few things we should do or check first. So first one, especially in the strong wind, let off the downhaul. That means when the boat comes upright, the sail isn't going to be flogging out of control. Next thing, and again this is especially in the strong wind, sort the jib out. The jib has kind of wrapped up. Okay, and in fact I'm going to have to go in the water to get the jib the right side. So getting back in the water is definitely something well worth avoiding in the really strong wind, but at the moment it's probably about 20 knots, so it's not too much. Again, I'm holding on to the boat. I've got a good hold of the forestay, working my way back to the boat and back to the hull, and then the bow of the boat is definitely the easiest place to get on, and I'm just making sure I don't put my trapeze hook through the hull. Of course, if you're up against it, sometimes you've just got to get on the boat any way that you can, but we've got time. We want to get the boat pointing into the wind, and you know, we could pull the boat up with the wind blowing onto the top of the trampoline, but when it's really strong, that's more likely to flip the boat over the other way. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to come forwards on the bow. That's going to sink the bow, and you can see the way that the boat is now turning. If we can get it to about 45 degrees, then that is enough. But this will also help us to get the wind under the mainsail, which is going to help us to right the boat.
Put the cover off me.
Yeah, you can do that. So Goose has gone to the back to let off the main sheet and the traveller. That's also going to help us to not flip over the other way. Okay, and right now the boat is just not wanting to turn, is it? This happens quite a lot, actually. To be completely honest, it happens quite a lot. And what I do in this situation, if I think that it's not so windy that the boat will come up and flip the other way, I just go for it. So we're going to go for it. So, heavier person on the rope first, and then the lighter person on the rope. You can hook into your trapeze harness on the rope if you like, that saves your arms, or better still can be to use the righting line as a chair by wrapping it around your buttocks. Buttocks, Angus. Buttocks. Okay, I'm going to go for the buttock wrap, and then this isn't going to take much, so as soon as we start pulling and the mast starts to come out, we're going to lean in, grab the dolphin striker under the boat. Talk to me, Goose!
Hey man! Yeehaw!
Alright, okay, we're definitely holding on to the boat now, and then whoever's best appointed to get on first, that would be me,
Carry on.
is going to get on first. I'm going for the corner as an option. As soon as I'm on the boat, I can just make sure everything's all right and help my teammate get on as well if necessary. But Goose is an athlete, he doesn't need help. Okay, so as soon as we're up, then whoever's on the boat first also, if necessary, could go to the back of the boat, grab the stick, and just make sure that the boat is steady and not trying to sail off. If you have experienced one of the rudders coming up, getting that bad boy down pretty quick is a good idea as well, just again to stop the boat from sailing off out of control. So there we go. Hopefully you'll be able to ride your catamaran now with confidence and safely. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Mr. Goose.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you soon with some more on Joyrider TV. If you want to get more of a full background knowledge of everything to do with catamaran sailing, every possible topic, then I've made a series of 120 videos called the Classroom Series, which takes a deep dive into everything about catamaran sailing. A bit out of breath. So if you want to get access to that, you can either subscribe as a channel member to Joyrider TV, Joyrider Academy tier, or you can buy it for a one-off price of €150, 120 video lessons, everything you could ever need to know.